Hey guys, welcome to the newest video. It is the third part I'm doing today of my top 100 because I might just finish this fucker off. First, I gotta show this to Justin because he loves them. Skittles! Only a small bag. I can't find big bags up here. So now we are at 20, go on to 11, and like I said, I'm just gonna finish this goddamn thing off and not be worried about it. So, number 20, I saw when I was 7 months old, and it had a very huge effect on me in so many ways, and that of course is Richard Donner's classic Superman that came out in 1978. So regardless to what has come after this, like the Spider-Man, the Batman, particularly the ones directed by Christopher Nolan, you can say those are better, but we have to tip our hat to this movie, because if this movie was not a success, there would be no comic book genre. And like I said about Hellboy, this is the perfect example of perfect casting. Christopher Reeve was fantastic as Clark Kent and Superman. He was just absolutely phenomenal. And I think half of you know, or you may not know, like I said, 7 months old, so obviously he was my very first childhood hero, and it broke my heart when he passed away. Something that even now, like, Christ, it's almost been 7 years since he passed away. I still haven't gotten over it. Like, to give you a little example, my mother did not want to tell me, because it was the first thing on the news that night. And I found out on my computer, and she came in, and I was just in the middle of my room, and I literally collapsed to my knees. I couldn't deal with it. I still can't. I still get emotional about it, and that's why I had a hard time watching Superman Returns. But yeah, Gene Hackman was fantastic as Lex Luthor. I mean, yeah, I like Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor, but Gene Hackman is the fucking man, basically. Marlon Brando, who got a record sum back in the day to play Jor-El, he was great, and he's not exactly an actor I like. I've never liked Marlon Brando. So, and the cast, like what I said of what Christopher Nolan did with Batman Begins, I mean, you're filled with so many fantastic actors and actresses, like Margot Kidder as Lois Lane. That was, again, perfect casting. You have Glenn Ford, you have Jackie Cooper, you have Terrence Stamp, who in the next film would just own it. I mean, he would own that film. This is, it's hard to pick between this and the Goonies as my absolute favorite film by Richard Donner. I've already used 3 minutes rambling about this, but that's how I am about Superman. I'm very passionate about this movie. So, number 20, Superman. 19, I actually had to sneak this on because I was not allowed to watch it. I was still only 12 when this came out. And some of you may remember Bob Dole, I think that's his name, that U.S. Senator having a major-ass problem with this film because of the violence, and I was like, what are you bitching about, dude? That, of course, is 1993's True Romance, number 19, directed by, not Ridley, Tony Scott, and it was just fantastic. I loved Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette. They were just fantastic together, and again, epic casting with this. You have the late Dennis Hopper, you have Brad Pitt, you have Christopher Walken, and that fantastic scene between him and Dennis Hopper, for one. You have Val Kilmer, you have Gary Oldman, who is almost unrecognizable in this film. Michael Rappaport, who is an actor I like. And you have, long before he became famous for The Sopranos, you have James Gandolfini in this. This is written by Quentin Tarantino, who I've said is a director who's kind of hit and miss with me, but if this was directed by him, I think this would be my absolute favorite film. It's kind of got that Badlands type feel, but I mean, oh my god, it is fantastic. What more can you say? So there we go, number 19, True Romance. Number 18 ended up being the best movie of 2005 that nobody went and saw, unless you were an epic fucking fan of the TV series, which I was and my parents were, and this was an absolute great I would say it's a great thank you to the fans, because we fought our fucking asses off to get this, and that, of course, is Serenity, number 18. This is the directorial debut of Joss Whedon, you always say his name wrong. This, of course, is the follow-up to his fantastic series Firefly, which Fox canceled. I know, of course, he did Buffy and Angel, but he'll always be remembered for Firefly, because it was just so epic. Great interest. It was a very interesting thing combining science fiction and Western, which was great. Nathan Fillion is Captain Malcolm Reynolds. He is the man. He just rocks in this movie. Everybody rocks like they did in the TV series. They rocked in the TV series and they rock in this. Because you got Zoe, I've never been able to say her name, but you know who I'm talking about. That gorgeous black lady who's married to Lawrence Fishburne. I've never been able to say her name. You got Alan Tudyk, you got Adam Baldwin, you got Summer Gladue, you got, oh god, I'm drawing blanks because I'm so tired. Sean Meyer, you have Kaylee, oh my god, she is just cute as a button. And you have Ron Glass, and of course, she's in V now, who played Inara. She's someone whose name I've never been able to pronounce. But it's a great story. I love the fact you find out where the Reavers came from. I'm not going to say where they are. And the actor who was in 2012, I've never been able to pronounce his name, but he was great in this. So, if you haven't watched this, I so recommend it. And Firefly, which is a great TV show. So number 18, Serenity. Number 17, I saw for the first time when I was 14, and it scared the shit out of me. It was scary, but it was also the epic music done by John Carpenter. And that, of course, is 1978's Halloween. I don't really have to go into this because we all know the story. And Justin, I hope you get your Halloween DVD signed by John Carpenter if you go to that convention. Jamie Lee Curtis's acting debut. Basically took over the scream queen thing from her mom. Michael Myers was a very great villain. I wish they would have kept him mysterious because that was kind of the mystique about the character. Donald Pleasance was just great as Dr. Sam Loomis. And he was in this, well, with the exception of number 3, he's in every sequel dealing with Michael Myers. And the score is one of the best things. The score is like, you know, you can go on about the score. So there we go, number 17, Halloween. Now here's a weird one. I always get looks when I say this is on my list, but I don't care. Again, my list, my choice. Came out in 1989. I was still 8 years old, and my god, I was scared to go on dirt for the longest time. And that, of course, is Tremors. Oh my god. Great throwback to the B-50s horror films. It's scary as hell. The Graboids are just awesome. Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward, my god. They were fantastic as Val and Earl in this. This spawned 3 sequels plus a TV series, and the sequels and the TV series are kind of forgettable. Just go back to the classic first film. It is just so great, especially that scene with Michael Gross and Reba McEntire in the basement. That's all I'm gonna say. That is just fucking great to watch. But yeah, I've always loved this movie. It's really short. It's like not even an hour and a half long, but I don't care. And it's got some great epic one-liners that a bunch of my friends and I used to imitate. Like the one that Fred Ward says, where he goes, I'll tell you one damn thing, old Chang don't get his slick bits on this for no measly $15. We would imitate that line so much. So, I can't say any more about this. It's a childhood favorite. It's one of my very first horror films. I don't know if you'd really classify it as a horror film, but I always have. So there we go, number 16, Tremors. And number 15, I like The Fifth Element, like Superman. I could make a whole bloody video about this movie. 1985, and thank you, Richard Donner. You made one of the greatest movies of the 80s. The Goonies. So if any of you were wondering when I did my DVD update, and I showed the Goonies box set, of course it's going to be the Blu-ray one. But yeah, what can you say? It's a classic. It's an epic classic for my generation in the 80s. I was like not even 5 when this came out, and we had, of course, we didn't have the tape, the VHS tape. I had to tape this off television, off Super Channel back in the day. We had to retape this so many times because it was one of those where I would just watch, rewind, rewatch, rewind, and never got tired. I still don't get tired. The cast is fantastic. Screenplay is done by Chris Columbus. I want to say Christopher Columbus. Chris Columbus, who of course went on to direct Adventures in Babysitting, another 80s classic. Home Alone. No, yeah, he directed Home Alone. Mrs. Doubtfire, and of course the first 2 Harry Potter movies. Yeah, Steven Spielberg is the executive producer. I wish him and Richard Donner would do something together again, because, my god, this was a fantastic film. So, I could go on and on. And of course, I have the song on the Good Enough by Cyndi Lauper. I have it on my iPod. It's a great song. So there we go, number 15, The Goonies. Number 14, probably one of the most epic films of the last decade, between 2000 and 2009. And I thought, I'm not really a fan of the books. I tried rereading them and I couldn't get into them again. But that, of course, is 2001's The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. This has always been my favorite, though some can arguably say Return of the King is better. I like this one the most. It's just fantastic. Peter Jackson is a genius. The cast is fantastic. I don't want to nitpick everybody, but the one who stood out to me was Sean Astin as Samwise Gamgee. He was great. So it's kind of hard to think of him, who to think of him as, Sam in this or Mikey in The Goonies. But yeah, I can't wait for the Blu-rays for this. I hope this turns out well on Blu-ray. It's a fantastic movie. I could go on and on about it. So here we go, number 14. The Fellowship of the Ring came out the same year as Lord of the Rings, and I found it better, and it's my favorite out of the 7 movies. I haven't watched the 7 movie part 1 yet. That, of course, is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, number 13. This has always been my favorite, not because it's the most lightest one, because I always found this was more faithful to the book than some of the others. It was fantastic. I was 21 when this came out, so needless to say, I've grown up my whole adult life, like, you know, from 21 to 31 watching Harry Potter and loving it. The cast, my god, it's an epic it's like with Superman and Batman Begins, surrounded by a bunch of well-known, beloved actors. I could go on and on about this, but I won't, because I'm already at 13 minutes, but it's a fantastic movie. I don't care what anybody says, and it's my favorite. So, number 13, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. This one came out in 1960. I never got to see it until 2002 because, for some stupid reason, I wasn't interested until I saw the remake, which absolutely sucked balls. So my mom said, well, you should watch the original one. I bought her this, and then a couple days later, I stole it and kept it in my collection. And, of course, 1960s, The Time Machine. This is an epic sci-fi classic, directed by George Pal, who had a hand in the original War of the Worlds. But yeah, I sat there watching this, and especially how he goes through time, and they show, like, the candle going zzz, and the mannequin in the store changing clothes. Well, I don't change the clothes, but you know what I mean, getting the clothes changed to show the years gone by. It was just fantastic. It may seem dated, but it's a fun movie. So there we go, number 12, The Time Machine. And number 11, I didn't get to see until I was about 16, and I saw this in Media Lit, which is a film class in school. And my friend told me there's one scene where you're gonna be like, yeah, because I love gore. And when it happened, I was like, fucking A! That, of course, is 1991's The Silence of the Lambs. I'm going to show off both copies that I have, the 2-disc special edition and the Criterion Collection. I'm at a minute, I got about 30 seconds. Yeah, great movie. So deserved the Oscar win for Best Picture, an actor, an actress, and screenplay, everything. I don't really have to go into this, though I'm almost over the limit. We all know the story. We know how great a character Hannibal Lecter is. I mean, #1 villain of all time on AFI's 100 Years, 100 Years, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean. So yeah, there we go. Number 11, Silence the Lambs. And we are almost there. Next video is going to be 10 to 1, which I think all of you know what they are. So I will see you in the next video. Bye.